Welcome to a chemistry section where we're going to talk about moles, grams, and liters in terms of equalities and conversion factors. Now let's start off with a non-chemistry example. We all know that 1 foot is 12 inches. Okay, you can turn that around. 12 inches equals 1 foot. Now, that's an equality you're all familiar with, and the question is, can we make a conversion factor out of that equality? Well, since 1 foot and 12 inches represent the same length, we can make a fraction out of it. We could say that one possible conversion factor is, 1 foot per every 12 inches. Okay? The other way we can make a conversion factor is flip it, and we get 12 inches in 1 foot. Now let's do an example of when we might want to use that conversion factor. Suppose we have a fence that is, I'll just write this out, fence is 37.5 feet long. How many inches is that? Okay, well, let's start the problem by writing out the known amount or the given amount. Well, we know that the fence is 37.5 feet. And we have to multiply that 37.5 feet by some conversion factor that will convert it to inches. Well, let's try it this way. You know we have this conversion factor. What if we multiply it by 1 foot for every 12 inches? Well, the problem with doing this is if you multiply feet by foot, you get feet squared divided by inches. That's not a meaningful problem. What we'd like to do is have feet in the denominator of this conversion factor, so feet will cancel with feet and we'll have inches in the numerator. And that's why the flip side is important. Okay, now let's look at it. If we multiply 37.5 feet times 12 inches in 1 foot, well, the units of feet will cancel with foot, even though this is plural and this is singular, don't worry about that. And the only units we'll have left are inches. So if we use that conversion factor, let's see what we get. 37.5 times 12 divided by 1, you don't have to really do the divided by 1, equals 450. So 37.5 feet is apparently 450 inches. Nice. Okay, so that's the trivial case where we kind of have a gut feeling for what the conversion factor is. But let's say what if we had a chemistry problem, like suppose we are told we have how many moles is, I don't know, let's pick a good number, 3.00 times 10 to the 25th atoms. How many moles is 3.00 times 10 to the 25th atoms? Well, what do we know about moles and atoms, or more generally, moles and particles? Well, we know that 1 mole of particles is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd of those particles. In other words, if I had 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles, I would have 1 mole of those particles. Now I can use that equation to come up with a conversion factor. My conversion factor is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles per mole. That's a conversion factor. The flip side is also a conversion factor. 1 mole per every 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles. Okay, so now let's pull this equation aside and try to figure out how would we do this problem. Well, we can think of an atom as a particle, and to be more precise, a representative particle. And well, I can do something like this. 3.00 times 10 to the 25th atoms. I'll call them particles. Now, can I multiply that by some conversion factor? Well, let's try looking at this one. If I multiply particles by particles, that doesn't really do me any good, and I don't get rid of particles that way. So what if I flip this over, multiply this many particles times the conversion factor 1 mole per 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles, you can see that particles here will cancel with particles in the denominator, and the units I'll have are moles. So this is the right conversion to do, and let's pull up a calculator. Okay, 3.00 second EE 25, and now I have to let's say times 1 divided by 6.02 second EE 23. Enter. And I get 49.8 moles. 49.8 moles. So what that means is, if I have 3.00 times 10 to the 25th atoms, that would be 49.8 moles of those atoms. So that's the way it works. Pretty straightforward. Now, what if we want to calculate a relationship between grams and moles? Okay, well, here's another useful equation. Let me scoot that up out of the way. So 1 mole of particles would have a mass of whatever the molar mass of that substance is, with units of grams. Okay, 1 mole of particles would have those particles' molar mass as its mass in grams. So from that we can create a conversion factor. One conversion factor is the molar mass in grams per 1 mole. Okay, and the flip of that is 1 mole of a substance per molar mass in grams of that substance. All right, let's see how we would use that. Okay, let's pick something like I don't know. Let's say we have 1,000 grams of dry ice, and we want to know how many moles that is. So we have 1,000 grams of dry ice, which is, we'll call it CO2, is how many moles? Well, let's write down what we know. 1,000 grams of CO2. So if we want to convert that to moles, we would multiply that by this conversion factor, 1 mole over the molar mass of CO2 in grams. Problem is, we don't know the molar mass of CO2, but we can calculate it on the fly. Carbon has an atomic mass of 12.0. Oxygen is 16.0, and we have 2 oxygens, so that means 32 plus 12 is 44.0. So the molar mass of CO2 is 44.0. So we would multiply 1,000 grams of CO2 times 1 mole over 44.0 grams. Okay, we've just taken this conversion factor here and put the number in for the molar mass. So carbon dioxide has a molar mass of 44 grams. So multiplying 1,000 times 1 divided by 44, well, let's do it. 1,000 times 1 divided by 44.0 is 22.7. We would have 22.7 moles of CO2. So if we have 1,000 grams of CO2, that, for example, 1,000 grams of dry ice, that would be 22.7 moles of dry ice. Interesting. Now let's do another kind of problem, because we know that 1 mole of particles, if those particles were gas particles at standard temperature and pressure, which is 0 degrees Celsius and 1 atmosphere, that 1 mole of gaseous particles would occupy a volume of 22.4 liters. Okay, we can make a conversion factor out of that fact, and we can use it like this. At STP, I just wrote that there to remind us, a gas would occupy 22.4 liters for every mole of gas particles. Or the other side of this is valid too. 1 mole of gas particles per 22.4 liters of that gas, as long as it's at standard temperature and pressure. So let's see if we can use that. Now, looking at this previous problem, we had 22.7 moles of CO2. Let's say we let that dry ice sublime and fill up a balloon with it, and let that balloon have a temperature at equilibrium of 0 degrees C and 1 atmosphere. The question is, what volume of gas would 22.7 moles of CO2 occupy? Well, let's write down what we know. 22.7 moles of CO2. Now let's look at our conversion factor. If we multiply moles times moles, that isn't going to do us any good. And liters is down here. We need to flip this over and use it like this. 22.7 moles of CO2 times 22.4 liters per mole. Now, as you can see, moles will cancel with moles. So let's see what that gives us. I got the feeling it's going to be a lot of volume. 22.7 moles times 22.4 liters divided by 1 mole. Again, you really don't need to divide by the 1, but I'm just doing it for completion. Gives me 508 liters, rounded to 3 sig figs. 508 liters of gas. So if I have 22.7 moles of CO2, that will sublime out, and at 1 atmosphere pressure and 0 degrees C, that'll fill up a 508 liter balloon. Now, how big is that? Well, maybe a small swimming pool. But anyway, and we can even go back further and say, if we have 1,000 grams of CO2, that will evaporate or sublime to give us a volume of 508 liters of CO2 gas at 0 degrees C and 1 atmosphere. Neat. 1 little kilogram of CO2 can give us all that volume. So anyway, that's a look into how moles, liters, and grams all relate to each other when you're talking about chemistry. And I hope this helps. And let me just summarize with my conversion factors. One mole of a substance will have a mass of whatever the molar mass of that substance is. Next up, one mole of a substance is 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles of that substance. And finally, as if you're talking about a gas, 1 mole of that gas will occupy 22.4 liters, assuming you're at standard temperature and pressure, which is 0 degrees C and 1 atmosphere. Now you can flip every one of these conversion factors and you get equally valid conversion factors. So the molar mass of a substance in grams is the mass per 1 mole. There are 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd particles in 1 mole, and at standard temperature and pressure are 22.4 liters of volume occupied by 1 mole of gas. That's the end of the lesson. Hope it helps.